Have you ever wondered who you'll be 5 years from now? Not just where you'll live or what job you'll have or how much money you'll make. I mean, who you'll become. Would you be healthier, more confident, more at peace? Or would you believe in yourself the way you've always hoped you could? Or would you still be telling yourself that you'll start tomorrow? Here's something I've been thinking about. Every decision you make today is introducing you to the person you'll become tomorrow. Not all at once, quietly. One choice, one habit, one conversation, one ordinary day at a time. And maybe that's encouraging because it means your future isn't built by one extraordinary moment. It's built by extraordinary moments lived with intention. So today, I'd like to invite you to imagine something. Imagine sitting across from the version of yourself 5 years from now. The healthiest version, the happiest version, the strongest version, the most peaceful version, the version of you who finally stopped doubting themselves. What do you think they would say? I don't think your future self would begin by asking why you haven't done more. I don't think they'll criticize every mistake you've made or remind you of every opportunity you missed. I think they'll smile because they know something you don't. They know how the story ends. And I imagine the first thing they'll say is this: thank you. Thank you for not giving up when you wanted to. Thank you for believing on the days when belief felt difficult. Thank you for taking the walk when no one was watching, for reading the book, for saving the money, for applying for the opportunity, for making the phone call, for choosing growth over comfort. None of those choices seem extraordinary at the time. Most of them felt ordinary, almost insignificant, but together, they changed everything. Because extraordinary lives are built through ordinary consistency. One decision, repeated often enough, becomes a different life. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that our future is waiting somewhere ahead of us. As the one day will arrive, everything will finally fall into place. We'll wake up motivated, fear will disappear, confidence will magically appear. Life doesn't usually work that way. Your future isn't waiting for you, it's being created by you right now. While you're making breakfast, while you're choosing whether to go for a walk, while you're deciding what to watch before bed, while you're deciding whether to learn something new, or tell yourself you'll start next week. The smallest choices often carry the greatest consequences. Not because one choice changes your life overnight, but because every choice casts a vote for the person you're becoming. Every decision quietly answers one question: who am I becoming? Maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're exactly where you need to be to become the person your future requires. Not because every step has been easy, but because every step has been preparing you. Every disappointment, every closed door, every delay, every lesson has been shaping qualities you'll someday be grateful for. Patience, resilience, wisdom, compassion, courage. Those things can't be downloaded. They have to be lived. And maybe, just maybe, the person you're becoming is far more important than the timeline you've been comparing yourself to. Before we continue, I'd like to invite you into a moment of intention. Wherever you are, take one slow breath. Now ask yourself one simple question. What choice can I make today that my future self will thank me for? Don't try to change your entire life today. Just choose one action, one conversation, one page, one prayer, one walk, one application, one act of kindness, one courageous decision. Because momentum doesn't begin when everything changes. Momentum begins the moment intention becomes action. Your future self isn't asking you to do everything today. They're simply asking you to not give up today. Hold on to that thought, because we're just getting started. There is something beautiful about growth that we don't talk about often. Most of it happens quietly. No applause, no recognition. No one notices the morning you choose to get out of bed instead of giving in to discouragement. No one celebrates the day you decide to read 10 pages instead of scrolling for another hour. No one sees the courage it takes to apply for a job you're not completely sure you're qualified for. No one notices when you choose patience instead of anger, or forgiveness instead of resentment. But those moments matter more than you realize, because the person you're becoming is created by the choices you're making when no one is watching. Character isn't built in extraordinary moments. It's rebuilt by ordinary ones. Every quiet decision becomes another brick in the foundation of your future. And one day, you'll stand on that foundation. Wondering how you got there? The answer will be simple. One intentional choice at a time. One of the fastest ways to lose sight of your own journey is to compare it to someone else's. We live in a world that celebrates highlights, promotions, new homes, vacations, big announcements, but what we rarely see are the years of preparation behind them, the doubts, the setbacks, the quiet mornings when we kept going even when nothing seemed to be changing. Comparison has a way of making us feel late, but growth doesn't follow a calendar. It follows commitment. Maybe the delay isn't punishment. Maybe it's preparation. Maybe the door hasn't opened yet, because you're still becoming the person who will walk through it with wisdom, humility, and gratitude. Don't rush the process. Roots grow before branches. Foundations are laid before houses are built. The strongest lives are often built the slowest. So don't ask, why is this taking so long? Instead, ask, who is this season helping me become? That question changes everything. One day, imagine just for a moment that 5 years have passed. You're sitting in a place that once felt impossible. Not because everything in life is perfect, but because you've become stronger, kinder, wiser, more patient, more confident. You've learned that peace doesn't come from having everything figured out. It comes from trusting yourself to keep moving forward. Now imagine that future version of you looks back and seize the person you are today. They remember your doubts, your fears, the nights you question yourself, the mornings you wonder if anything would ever change, and then smile. Not because your journey was easy, but because you didn't quit. Maybe they would say something like this: thank you for believing on the days you couldn't see the outcome. Thank you for choosing discipline over excuses. Thank you for continuing when progress felt invisible. Thank you for trusting that small choices would eventually become a beautiful life. And finally, they will lean forward, look you in the eyes, and say, your future self isn't asking you to do everything today. They're simply asking you to not give up today. Maybe this message found you at exactly the right moment. Maybe today wasn't meant to change your entire life. Maybe it was simply meant to change your next decision. Because that's where transformation begins, not in one extraordinary leap, but in the one intentional step. The life you're hoping for isn't built someday. It's built today, quietly, patiently, one decision, one habit, one act of courage, one day at a time. Your future isn't asking for perfection, it's asking for presence, for consistency, for hope, for one more reason to keep believing. If today's message resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to Mindset, Momentum, and Intention and become part of a community committed to growth, intentional living, and creating a meaningful momentum, one day at a time. My hope is that these messages remind you that lasting change doesn't happen overnight. It happens through small, intentional choices made consistently. If you'd like to support this mission and help me continue creating videos like this, you'll find my Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Every contribution helps me dedicate more time to creating thoughtful, encouraging content that reaches more people who may need it. Whether you chose to support the channel, share these messages with someone who could use a little encouragement, or simply spend a few minutes here each week, thank you for being part of this journey. Together, we're building lives with more intention, more momentum, and more hope. Until next time, keep believing, keep growing, and keep building momentum.